welcome to the live stream. We're 100% on time. No issues have happened whatsoever. I'm not gonna say I'm necessarily incredibly prepared today, but you know, we're trying. We're working on it. Yep, spooky stream. You may not be able to tell, but I am wearing a pumpkin and cat themed skirt today, which I mostly have for the purposes of live streams because I don't actually see anybody with my daily dressing anyway. But I kind of forgot that skirts are not terribly visible in the live stream, but whatever, it's fine. I am thematically dressed. Next week, I will be in my Halloween costume because it is actually Halloween for next week's live stream, which it was last year during the live stream. And the reason that happened 2 years in a row is because last year we were doing the live streams on Saturdays. We switched to Sundays, like, I don't know, earlier this summer, I believe. And because of that, I get 2 years of Halloween live streams. Although I will say I don't think that my Halloween costume is really at a super amazingly high level whatsoever. So, but you know, I think that my not trying terribly hard on Halloween costume is still like above a lot of other people's trying really hard costume just because I'm a costume predisposed individual. So, yeah. Today's live stream is going to be just like, it's about productivity, which feels kind of ironic to me given that this week has not been a terribly productive week for me. I had multiple evenings of not getting things done when I wanted to get things done. And then this morning, wasn't feeling amazing when I woke up. You know, of course, per usual, I was like, oh, did I get COVID this week? But I don't think I did. I feel much better now. But I just had a very slow Sunday morning. So the irony of doing a live stream all about productivity is not lost on me. That being said, I wanted to do more planner content because there have been a lot of lovely people that have come in because of Hobonichi videos. And I have been using the Hobonichi Cousin, which is my first Hobonichi ever. Despite being kind of interested in Hobonichis for years, I've been using a Hobonichi Cousin Avec for essentially a month now. For a month now. So I thought it would be interesting to kind of review how I'm using it. I have a mostly functional planning style compared to a lot of other planner YouTubers, and definitely the Hobonichi Cousin is a weekly and a daily planner, and my daily pages are not very pretty. They are just mostly to-do lists. Some days I put a little energy and effort in, and then other days I just don't use the pages at all, or they're just a small amount. Sometimes that makes me feel guilty as though I have not made use of the paper, but I'm excited to talk about that, and then I'm going to talk about some of the other tools I use because a lot of people have asked me why I still choose to use a paper planner despite using a lot of other types of digital productivity tools. And I have been using a paper planner with digital productivity tools pretty much since I was able to start writing by hand again, which happened in my late 20s. I essentially got on a drug that allowed me to treat my arthritis, and I was able to grip a pen again, and I started using a paper planner in addition to the digital planning tools I have, and I found it like a very good balance for me. So David says, it's depressing that did I get COVID is a weekly question we all have to ask ourselves, even vaccinated. Yeah, I have this like thing where I'm comfortable with the choices that I'm making because at one point I just made the choice that like if I do X things, if I'm wearing a mask, it's fine. And I had a brief moment this morning of like, what if going to the doctor's office with masks on was too much? Or what if skating with a mask on with kids that are too young to be vaccinated is actually too risky? What if the restaurant we went to with vaccinated people that was open air last night not that I would have probably gotten COVID the next day. So anyway, I just had that moment of like, oh, now the considerations. Also, I am vaccinated, but I got Johnson and Johnson, so I am waiting, hopefully this week, to go get my booster shot finally, which I feel very grateful that we were able to get vaccines at all in this country, since less than 5% of healthcare workers in the African Union have been vaccinated. People that are working day in and day out in the COVID crisis in healthcare settings do not have access to even the first shot of the vaccine series. So the fact that I am getting a second, I got J&J, so my booster is my second shot, which I'm hoping to get of a different vaccine. Anyway, I'm very grateful that we have access to it in this rich country, and I wish more people would take advantage of it. So, welcome. Thank you all for joining for a spooky live stream. Our donut today, I think, is pretty rad. So all the donuts this month are either gray or black, and this one is like silvery. But see if you could guess what flavor this is, because I don't think it is even remotely obvious from the picture. It's like actually sparkly, if you can see that. So if you could guess what flavor this is, I will be surprised. You might say that it's not spooky enough, but it looks like in person, I think maybe it looks a little more glittery on the screen, but it looks like a ghost kind of gray color in person, and I kind of feel like it is appropriate. Lavender. It is not lavender, but doesn't it look like it would be like kind of a lavender flavor? It is not ghost flavor. All right, Maggie in DeWoods has a good memory. It is a caramel apple fritter. So it's very like Halloween themed on the inside. It is the one you all voted for last week, which I got to admit, even though it won by a landslide, I could not remember when I went to go get the donut today what had won. And I initially tried to search through the timestamps because I am trying to be diligent and timestamp every live stream. Unfortunately, still do not have the funds to transcribe every live stream afterwards, but I have been trying to timestamp them, and I unfortunately forgot to timestamp the actual poll, but I remembered what it was once I was down there. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I think we should jump into planner content, but I would love to know how folks are. I hope that the planner content is a welcome end of spooky October departure from all the budgeting content. Because of Budgetober, we've been doing so many budgeting live streams and haven't really touched on what is happening with economic indicators. I thought maybe the planner would be like kind of a nice break from both budgeting and from maybe going into some of the more hard economics. Open enrollment has started for people that get their healthcare in the US on the healthcare.gov exchanges. And we will be diving into Healthcare Month on the podcast, and we will probably do a live stream about making choices and decisions around healthcare. It is also open enrollment for a lot of people at their work. So time budgeting. It is time budgeting. I actually, when I first started using YNAB, which is the budgeting software I've used, I've talked about it before. When I first started using YNAB, I loved the methodology of how the budgeting works and the budgeting down to zero, that I actually tried to set up a time budget in YNAB. So I actually like made a new budget, and I budgeted out the number of hours in a month, and I tried to budget it out so that I could see, because I had, at the time, I think I had 3 jobs when I first started using YNAB, and I also had like other additional projects and volunteering, and I was just like trying to figure out how one can do all of that. I feel like right now I am currently in a phase of my life where I need a time budget again, and that is one of the reasons I think the Hobonichi is working so well for me, because it is a 24-hour schedule, and it works very well for me, kind of thinking about the fact that I am budgeting all of my time. I additionally I do track all of my productive hours. I've previously done we've done some episodes on the podcast about it. We also did a challenge quite a long time ago called March of Time on the forums to encourage people to actually track all of their time, just to see where kind of time was not necessarily wasted, but maybe used in a way that you didn't feel was getting you the highest value, which is exactly how I feel about budgeting, right? Like we all have regrettable spending, and I don't necessarily think that having a budget means restricting yourself and always being frugal. I just think it's trying to get the most value out of your dollars, and that's kind of how I feel like tracking your time can serve as a reflection on that. That is one of the reasons I like paper planners. The other reason I like paper planners is that I'm very visually motivated. So I tend to tune out things that I get used to. And so I need something that is novel and interesting. This is like an ADHD thing. I need something to be novel and interesting in order for me to pay attention to it. And one problem I had when I organized my to-dos and my time entirely on Google Calendar and Todoist which was the to-do software I used to use. Actually, prior to that, it was something called Wunderlist, which then got bought by Microsoft, and I continued to use it until Microsoft destroyed it, like they destroy all pieces of software that they acquire at some point. Anyway, one reason I started enjoying using paper planners, in addition to the fact that I was really reveling in the fact that I had ability to write by hand now, was that you can't make more paper in the week, right? So if your to-dos realistically fill up the space available, then you have to reconcile with the fact that you can't make more hours. And one problem I ran into with digital to-do lists was I would stack everything I ever possibly wanted to do in a digital to-do list, and then I would feel overwhelmed by it. And I would get into to-do list debt. Like with Todoist, I would have all these daily task lists and stuff, and they would just keep piling on, and I would have all these super overdue tasks in my Todoist task list, and it made me not want to log in, not want to use it. I do think in lists, like that is very much how I like to approach things, but I don't necessarily I don't find that just a series of lists is the best kind of long-term planning for me. I need to see the calendar. I need kind of the overview. So yeah. Dean Jones says, my letterbox would beg to disagree with you on that. It makes more paper almost daily. Good point. Well, that's also one of the reasons that I actually really like, on a personal level, I know a lot of people really like undated planners because they feel like there's no wasted space if they go on vacation or they fall off and stop using it. I need dated planners. And in addition to just not having the patience for filling in every single day in a planner, I also need to not be able to be like, oh, I'll just move over into next week or whatever. I need to feel like it's has concrete bounds. It's important to me. So I got so this is the paper planner that I am currently using, and I do use it in tandem with a couple digital tools. So I want to kind of show off how I'm using the Hobonichi Cousin Avec, which I got this secondhand from someone who was not finding it useful at the end of September. So it is a half-year booklet. I am planning on using it through the end of the year. I'm really, really liking it. It's working very well for me, and I have purchased one for next year. I don't think I have everything beautifully worked out. I don't have the perfect system, but I am really liking a lot of parts of my system, and I'm using it integrated with quite a few digital tools. I track all of my time using Toggl, which I'll talk a little bit more about that. And for daily on focus management, I actually use something called Llama Life, which is a relatively new piece of software. It's like a web-based software that lets you set timers and integrate it with a to-do list, and it works extremely well for me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But I thought first I would dive into how I'm using the Hobonichi Techo. So the way that I have been using it, it is a weekly and a daily planner. This is the first time that I've had the combination of the two. What I found, I had a Mossery half-year planner that I was using for the first half of the year. I did not want to pay shipping for it. I didn't want to pay $20 of shipping to get a $9 booklet for the second half of the year, because it is international. There's not a lot of stockists that have it here in the US. And I went 2 months without a weekly view on my paper planner, and I was kind of melting down. One thing that did happen, though, was that my journal, which I wasn't amazing at, I started using as a daily planner, and I found that it was interesting and working for me because it allowed me to put things on the list that were more, having the daily pages kind of made me be less precious about the to-do list. Because one thing I ran into is if it wasn't a big to-do for the week, I didn't want to put it on my weekly view. So the combination of the two is good. I do kind of feel like I need a big weekly overview, and then the daily pages feel quite large to me because, as you can see, there's always tons of white space unless I'm like doing a brain dump or something like that. So the way that I approach this is on Sunday nights, I sit down, and this has been true for a couple years. I sit down and I plot out anything that is a set schedule for the next week. So I don't predate anything. The only thing that I have predated here for next week is that I take my shot, my weekly shot on Monday, and I put it in there so that I would not forget. I got cute little stickers for my shots. And the reason that this actually got marked ahead in my planner had more to do with the fact that the sticker showed up than the fact that I normally do that. Then I will plot out anything that is a standing appointment. The way that my work works right now is that I have a day job, full-time day job, but that day job has very limited meetings and extremely flexible hours, and I can work essentially my 8 hours anywhere between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. my local time. Because I am an early riser, I do tend to try to get started so that in the afternoon I can have time for other things. You will see that this week I really was not terribly productive in the afternoons. I worked on Monday night, and then it kind of started to fall apart towards the end of the week, including Thursday. I spent like 3.5 hours finishing a book that showed up on hold at the library that I didn't even remember ordering. So the way that I start my day is that I look towards the weekly to-do list that I've made on Sunday night. I separate them out by the type of things. This is kind of how I'm currently doing it. I was doing my little charts, which I learned from, I learned this from the Coffee Monster Co. Her channel, very popular planner shop, as well as like YouTube channel. She kind of does these graphs, and I thought they were very cute. I have been loving having the graph paper, which I did not have in the Mossery previously. I already track my hours for these, and then this is color boxing the time based on the activity. So, you know, each week I'll pick a different color scheme. It's not consistent week to week, and I will mark out either my day job, Oh My Dollar, which is my business, and then time spent studying or skating. So that is how things have been kind of going. Usually I'll just pick a random washi tape. I don't have a ton of washi tapes, but I have a lot more than I used to. I'll pick one, put it on the bottom, and then I will try to pick some slightly color coordinating things. I don't put any stickers down ahead of time. I don't use any of the like kits that other people have. But I did get these last week. I got some of these like cute little Sweet Avis design stickers, and I really like her style. And I've kind of put them in there after something has been marked down. As you can see, it's mostly just work. These are Sweet Kawaii designs. Mostly just like little things to show that I'm working or studying or whatever it might be. Or doctor's appointments. So the things that I do mark down in here are what time I woke up and what time I go to bed each day. I don't actually do it in the planner live. So I use a app, and I have for years, that is a tracking app. And it is literally a timer I start when I go to bed. I just start the timer right when I get in bed, and then it keeps going. And I turn it off. And that is where my times for start and stop. I additionally use an app called Sleep Cycle, which a lot of people know. I've been using it for years. However, I live on a very noisy street, and I usually have the window right next to my bed open. This used to use the accelerometer on your iPhone under your pillow to mark when it thought you were asleep or not in this app. Unfortunately, it no longer does that. It uses the microphone, and since I live on a super noisy street where people are shouting all the time at night, or cars are drag racing, it constantly is mistaking the sounds of outside as me being awake. So I just mark these down essentially the next day. The next day I'll say, when I sit down and start. This data doesn't really go anywhere. It just kind of sits there. I haven't been putting my to-do lists in my daily thing. I've just been tracking my time and color coding it. So I don't know. Anybody have any questions about how I've been using this thus far on the weekly pages? Weekly is my favorite overview to have, but when I'm actually working during the day, I will have my daily list out. And the daily list I do on the day of. I try to do some cute lettering. I am not a cute lettering person. As you noticed, I really do like the bold kind of felt pens during the week, but everybody loves this paper because of how great it is with fountain pens. So I do use my one fountain pen that I own, which is a Koiko Sport fountain pen, on my daily pages. And as you notice, sometimes I use them a lot, and then other days I don't. This was like, I had a piece of washi tape I took off of a returned envelope. Like, I'm not in any way aggressive about decorating these. I have not been using them for journaling. I'm not much of a notebook journaler. I can't actually, as much as I'm someone who wishes that she was a aesthetic journaler, or that I did keep a written journal. I do still have arthritis, and writing an entire page that is this big, an entire like A5 page, would be a lot on my hands, and the to-do lists are more important for me. So I don't think I'm using these in a beautiful way. I've tried to do some like matrices, but mostly it's just dividing kind of around the various things that I'm doing. I don't know. I'm not completely sold on how I'm using the daily pages, but they are working fine. They're not pretty. I'm not going to win any awards anywhere for those. I do think that my weekly pages look more pretty, and I would say that these are more for these are like more aesthetic, but I also enjoy looking at these more. But this is just, it's just scratch paper. It's just a place for me to put my I just like put my to-do lists in here. So, and then I will use Llama Life during the day to actually time those out. So the way that I'm using the monthly overview, I've never been much of a monthly overview. I do want to compare it against how I used my, oh no, is this the right one? Yes, it is. Okay, so this was my Mossery, and this one is the Mossery Twin Book. This is what I was using at the beginning of the year. You can see I used my pages pretty similarly, but I wasn't using it for tracking time in the same way. This is how I was using my monthlies. I was using it for my training plan for running, which was pretty helpful because I didn't like having to pull it up on my phone all the time. But I did also try it out for my editorial calendar, but I actually managed my editorial calendar in Notion, which I will talk about later, but I'm trying to find a example of my editorial calendar. Yeah, you can see like it just starts to fall off. I'm not doing running training right now, and I am back to figure skating because the rinks have reopened. They were not open for the first half of the year, and I wasn't comfortable going until I was vaccinated. So, yeah, this is kind of how I was using this to track, like, when I published things, I was putting them on stickies so that I could move them around and things like that. But yeah, that's kind of what it looks like to have the editorial calendar in there. So I have been tracking when things actually get published and the live streams. And then the other thing I've been doing is one thing that I really am frustrated by. I like a lot of things about Patreon as a platform, but it is extremely frustrating to deal with tracking if I've sent things out to people. And rather than having some sort of centralized database where I keep track of if new patrons have actually gotten their things shipped out, I just have been marking off through the name of the person that I sent it. And then next time I poll new patrons, which I try to every week mail out, but it can take once a month, depending on how busy I am, mail out the new patron packages to people. I just pull from and in reverse order of when they joined, and then I know who actually still needs to get it out. I did try to do a kind of tracking method here that you can see for tracking my studying. So right now I am studying for a securities exam, and there's essentially 3 different components of the studying. There's practice quizzes, there is reading, and there's videos. The platform I use does track kind of my progress on those and everything. And I just found that it was a lot of data, because one thing that I have right now is that I'm currently taking PTO on Wednesdays. So on Wednesdays, I tend to study like 5 or 6 hours for the Series 65. And it just really wasn't working I wasn't able to track enough in these tiny boxes. So it didn't really work. I'm also doing a different tracking method. This is the yearly index. This is the thing I was like really excited about, the ability to have graph paper for doing kind of habit tracking or something. So based on these really great videos on YouTube that I highly recommend for people that are into functional planning by Yukiko Sakumuro, which is called, helpfully, Ways to Use the Hobonichi Cousin Yearly Index. One of the things that she suggested was actually doing a study tracker. So I've been using this in colors, and each block is equal to half an hour of studying. So German is one color, skating, which is my, actually skating is training for me. So this allows me to track what things I worked on kind of, and then Series 65, which is a securities exam that I'm studying for. The thing that I was kind of running into is that I do a half an hour of German almost every day. And so I was kind of getting that line there. And then the other problem I have is because Wednesdays I am taking PTO from my day job right now, I tend to spend more than the number of blocks. Like this is, I think, equivalent to like eight hours or something across there. I end up spending more than a combined 8 hours on studying for Series 65 and going skating, because I have skating in the morning on Wednesdays. And so I was having to kind of like make it go over the side. And then additionally, I have German over here. So I might try something else different in November. One of the things that I'm considering doing is actually using this as sort of an index for the to-do lists. Daily pages, which is a thing I've seen a lot of people do as kind of a way of tracking that. I could also try to use it as an editorial calendar. I'm not really sure. I really want to use this in a useful way because it sounds really great to me, and I do a lot of these kind of things. I feel like editorial calendar, it might actually just be too thin because, you know, 2 podcasts a month plus 4 live streams and then maybe 2 blog posts. I'm not really going to fill up a ton of columns. But I don't, one thing that I kind of struggle to do is I don't tend to, this hasn't been useful information really to me to look like this because I do track it in Toggl. So yeah, that's pretty much the basics. I was really excited about the graph paper, but I haven't figured out what I'm going to graph yet, probably because I do so many types of tracking on my phone, which I, you know, publish these reports each month, and most years I do an annual report like zine that actually tracks all the data in my life, and I have been tracking tons and tons of data. You can find videos of my talks online for the Quantified Self Conference if you are interested in that, and you can obviously find all the reports and everything on my website. So because I track so much data already, I don't know how much I want to track it on paper. But yeah, this is kind of the basics of it. Something I ran into, so this was my first PT appointment day, and then I was supposed to start doing this PT this week. I have not been as consistent with it as I like, but the problem is I'm supposed to do 2 an hour during my day, like 20 times a day, and I haven't been able to figure out how to track that in the weekly view. So maybe I need to find a neat way to do it in the daily view. But the thing for me is that I only really use the daily pages when I'm sitting down at my desk, which is most of the time during the weekdays. But one thing you'll notice is that they tend to get a lot more empty on Sundays and Saturdays because I just spend less time at my desk with this open to me next to me on the desk. So yeah, this is kind of the basics of it. Oh, you like the cat tab fuzz bubbles? Yeah, I got this in, I got like a set of these in Tokyo. They're very cute though. And then I also did my skate schedule, which is, these are the public skate times at the rink that I go to. And I did this because their website is like broken half the time. And I just wanted to be able to open it to see if, you know, I can go after work or not. I mostly have these times memorized, but it's always good to do the double check because it also checks it. I like seeing a useful planner. Too pretty can become an impediment for me. I like how they look, but to me, they don't look as functional. And I'm not obsessed with planners to make them beautiful. I'm obsessed with planners in order to have them be productive. I just need them to be slightly interesting looking in order for them to be novel and engaging for me. I made the habit of journaling while I'm watching your lives every Sunday. I don't know how you can do that, because that's the other thing is, like, I can't write stuff while listening to someone talk. But you could just ignore me, I guess. The Journaling Broom says, I know her channels. I typically watch her videos if I want ideas how to use my Hobonichi. I watched her videos so much even prior to having a Hobonichi. But she has just some really excellent videos about functional planning. And I'm maybe a little fluffier than her, but it has been really helpful for me because right now I'm kind of accidentally have a lot more studying in my life than initially planned, because I'm taking a German class every Saturday for which I have homework and need to study. And then additionally, I'm studying for the securities exam, which is like a grand total of like probably 150 hours of studying over the course of 3 months. So it is quite a lot of studying. So yeah, for me, it has been, for me, I have really needed her videos to kind of figure out how to organize my life. I don't know how useful these little charts are, but I do like the look of them. So I don't know if that's one of those things where it looks functional, but really it's more aesthetic to me. I just kind of like how they look. It really does screw with me though, because it makes me feel really guilty when I have like multiple, like this week I had a pretty unproductive week as far as studying. And so I just kind of have like a really low week. And then I only went skating one day this week because I had appointments on the days when it would have been an option for me to go skating, and then I just didn't want to do it this morning. So, yeah. Should I plan a week, or do we want to talk about other apps? Because I do kind of want to share how I actually integrate my planning with my, with using albums, live stream. So I think probably the thing that I think is the most like compelling and important thing that I do is having this thing called Llama Life, which is a relatively new thing. And I actually screen recorded how it works. So Llama Life is a browser extension that allows you to have a task list. And the cool part about it, so it's just entirely a web-based thing. I work from a pretty big screen, as you can see over here all day, and I do not have, I can have a lot of things between my laptop screen and my desk screen. The way that Llama Life works, that works really well for me at the time of day, is it forces you to put a time estimate on everything you do. Because I've been tracking my time for quite a few years now, I actually do generally know about how long it's going to take me to do something. I do underestimate from some tasks. I tend to get a little optimistic about how little time certain creative tasks will take me. But with work, I have a pretty good estimate unless something that I'm doing, I do a lot of very rote work. So unless something has unexpected surprises in it. But one thing that I struggle with is starting the task. And then the other thing I struggle with is not taking on too much in a day. So Llama Life is not really designed as a to-do list app that is meant to dump every to-do list you ever wanted. It's really meant for that day. So one thing I do, I fill out my Hobonichi at the beginning of the day. I, make my little list, and then I go and I start adding all of the tasks to my Llama Life, and I just have it up on the side of my screen. I also start my Toggl timer, which is just my passive time tracking. Toggl is not meant to make me stay on task. It's meant to report how I've used my time. Llama Life is meant to keep me on task for the day. So I have preset lists with the things that I have to do every day. And when I sit down, I'll start my preset lists. I will load one of them. So I have a weekday one and then a Saturday one. You can move things to the top, but you can only work on one task at a time. And then you hit play, start for the task, and the timer will count down. It actually is two different styles of timer. One style of timer is a visual timer that you can use for tasks up to an hour. That's essentially like a little red timer clock. What is also really great about it is you can pick these little emojis. I appreciate having the emojis. I also have different tasks on Sundays than I do on weekdays. When you clear tasks, confetti comes down on the screen like this, which I really love. And the cool part is at the bottom, it'll tell you based on your estimated tasks what time you would be done for the day. And that will keep happening. So if you don't start those tasks and you're not working on those tasks, then that time is going to get later and later. If you delete a 45-minute task, you'll get 45 minutes back. For me, it is extremely helpful because I really struggle with too much optimism with what I put on my to-do list, and Llama Life has really helped. Also, seeing that timer clock tick down really helps me with sort of the time blindness, because I don't have a lot of time-specific tasks in my day job. I don't have tasks that have to happen at a certain time because I have very few meetings. I just have tasks that take a certain amount of time because I do a lot of database work, a lot of kind of consulting work that just takes some grind work on that. Llama Life has been incredible for me. It helps me really keep on task. You can also do a bunch of different settings. You can have the timer when it goes off, flash. You could have it make noise. There's a bunch of different options depending on how much of a jolt out of this that you want. I also have found it helpful, even though I do not have a lot of meetings. I start the timer at the beginning of a meeting, and that means that I'm the one getting reminded, because I'm often the one running meetings, because some of the few meetings I have with other people are me training people, either clients or other folks. And so I'm often in charge of the schedule. So if I say that we're going to do an hour meeting or an hour training, I will have that blaring sort of in the corner if we have gone over, and I can choose to add 5 minutes or whatever. But nobody else in the meeting is going to see that. But it's very much just like setting a kind of a kitchen timer for your meeting, only it comes with cute little emojis. The picking of the emojis is quite fun. It'll tell you how long the list time is. I have really, really liked Llama Life. I do not use it for, there are some level of reports on it. Like you can get some reports actually in the app, but I don't do reports there. I do reports in Toggl, which I will also just run. Toggl, which I've linked to it down below, is the time tracking software I've used for everything that I do for quite a long time. So I have Toggl and Llama Life just stacked on the side of my screen as tiny little boxes. And Toggl is, I have it actually so it tracks my activity at the computer, because most of the things I track in Toggl are in fact computer tasks. So I just start a timer when I'm going. I have different categories. So I have Oh My Dollar, I have my day job, and with my day job, because I have to track time, unfortunately, in a different app. So if you're counting, I'm now tracking time in 3 apps and a planner. Because I have to track time for billable hours at my day job using Harvest, which is a different online tracker that integrates with like kind of our ticketing software at work. This is just for me to know how many hours I've put into my job. So rather than tracking to clients at work with Toggl, I just start a general day job timer, and I have 2 different settings, which is productive and muddling around. And muddling around is not for my employer to know, it's just for me to know. If I've had a kind of unproductive afternoon at work, then I would mark it as muddling around. But this helps me track my, anytime I spend filming, doing homework, studying, shipping out stickers or anything like that. This sounds like a ton of work. I know it sounds like a ton of work, but honestly, I also, because I have previously tracked all of my time, including like time spent doing dishes and stuff, which I don't do anymore. I actually know how much time I spend total on tracking, and it's like less than 10 minutes a week as far as, setting the timers, correcting things if I left a timer running too long. I have it, it's very automatic in my life where I just kind of start it when I sit down at the computer. I start it when I'm studying. It's very, very helpful for me. It also allows me to make sure that I'm making incremental progress on things. So things like studying German, because I'm an adult in an adult class, it's really easy for me to just kind of not study. But this, having that daily loaded list that says just start a 15-minute timer on your lunch or on a break or at the end of your work day to open Duolingo or open that. David says, how did you stop doing dishes? Well, I got a dishwasher for one, which really helped a lot. But no, I stopped tracking my time for things like doing dishes. I wish that. So I do get really great reports out of Toggl. So you can see, like, this tracked my time working on my day job, working on studying, working on Oh My Dollar. I also track Patreon time kind of separately, just because I want to know how many hours I'm putting into just managing my Patreon rather than general Oh My Dollar, like creative tasks or admin tasks. I'm able to get my yearly overview. I can pull reports for any individual things. I have essentially my day job, Oh My Dollar, Patreon, studying. These are all set up as separate clients. And this allows me to actually run reports from Toggl and kind of see how I spend my time. So as you can see, I've clocked 2,038 hours this year. But what I will say, that includes volunteer time. So that isn't all straight studying or work time. That also includes time spent organizing bike rides or doing other volunteer activities. I also track all my time that I spend on pay it forward workshops for Oh My Dollar. So it's just been helpful. I have tried to get into using tagging. Toggl has the option for tagging. I tried to tag things if I'm writing versus doing graphic design. But it turns out that that's just too granular of a level for me, so I don't do a ton of tagging really. So I mentioned that I really use this for kind of daily task lists as I do use Llama Life for Patreon. So, or Llama Life for like daily timers. So the thing that I don't put in my planner, I know a lot of other people put stuff in their planner that's like lists of study notes and things like that. I like to have the ability to search things. So for that, I use Notion. I use Notion for anything that involves essentially long range planning. And the reason I use Notion is it lets you kind of be very flexible in how you structure things, and I'm able to search. So I am not the kind of person that's like a bullet journaler who absolutely loves making nice long lists and collections and stuff like that in my bullet journal. And then additionally, I like the ability to copy and paste, especially for studying and things like that. So for example, when I was taking Croatian, I used Notion to organize all of my lessons for my Croatian lessons, all of my reviews. And then the other great part about Notion is that you can actually create lists in there, and then you can pull them all out and turn them into flashcards for Quizlet, because for studying languages, you really do need a lot of flashcards most of the time. However, I've been using Notion for quite a long time for things that are not just studying. So along the side, you can see that I have a lot of different projects. One of the projects that I had to manage was applying for Croatian citizenship, which was really, actually, I could just pull up the full Notion. I could just pull this board up. I don't have any scary sort of stuff here. So that at the very top was a little timer I made because we had a 6-month expiration date on our oldest apostille in order to go, and that was our deadline for when we actually needed to have every other application in. 6 months sounds like a long time, but it really is not when you need as much paperwork as you need. So I also kept extensive notes on when we were estimated to get all of the things that we were sending out for. Essentially, applying for citizenship was a lot of... there were 4 of us applying, so there was just a ton of paperwork that was going back and forth to all of these different states. But Notion allowed me to also make a timeline view. This is totally the kind of thing that I could have done in a paper planner, but one thing I ran into was, in addition to things kept changing, dates kept moving out, for example, the apostille that we got from New York City, it just failed miserably. Additionally, I was able to have the 3 other people that were applying with me on here, and we were able to assign who was in charge of various things in here. So this is what the full timeline looked like. Yes, this is how many documents we ended up needing to get. And I also was able to create kind of types of tasks. So I was able to say, I was able to put the tracking numbers in here. That's an old tracking number, so I'm not worried about it. You won't be able to track anything with it. But I also had a status, which if something was not started, in progress, complete, dependent, or in the case of one of the things failed, it just literally we could not get it back from the county. And that also came with tiny little emojis because I find that emojis are very motivating for me. And then everybody was able to have a checklist within here. And this is exactly the kind of thing where I just don't think that I could have done this on paper. I really needed to have a lot of different other things, and I took notes when I was in there. The other things that I've used is I have dashboards and editorial calendars for things like this. And what Notion allows me to do is I can actually view this as a board or as a calendar. So this is a YouTube dashboard. I don't use this as much for Oh My Dollar, but this really helped me track my editorial calendar. And, you know, I did try to do that on paper, and I just found that for me, Notion works better. But then once something is done, I like to track it in my planner. And what other things can we talk about? Oh yeah, I was researching grad school, and I made a thing here and then decided to not apply to grad school because it was in London and the world is still not safe. So that's pretty much what I use Notion for. This is last month's report, and essentially is what my one of my monthly reports looks like. I post these every month, and all of the data from these comes from YNAB. So this is a perfect example of like something that some people would totally do as an extremely cute planner spread, something that I only really know how to do in Excel and Photoshop. I don't have the kind of skills. Like, I could print this out, and I don't know if I can share it on the screen. I could print this out. Is this being shared, or is it just a view of it? So, like, I could print this out and try to put it into my planner, but I don't have the skills to, like, hand letter that. So yeah, those are most of the apps I use for productivity. I do use this. So I talked about the tracking app that I use. I use this for tracking all of my data. It's essentially just a glorified spreadsheet on my iPhone. I've been tracking data about myself, mood, health, hours of sleep, number of drinks of caffeine, number of drinks of alcohol, miles biked. I've been tracking all of that data about myself in a spreadsheet since 2007 or 2008. And then I started, once I got an iPhone in 2014, I started doing a lot more tracking on my phone. But one of the apps that I have continued to use is essentially a glorified spreadsheet. What it allows me to do is essentially just input a number each day, and then it will export it as a Google Sheet, but it also will make these little graphs for me. So things like my miles biked, I have been tracking in here for years, and that allows me to pull the data out. And that's the kind of thing that a lot of people would track in a paper planner. And for me, I do this every night before I go to bed. I can do it in any country in the world. I don't have to carry the planner. It's carried over across many phones. So yeah, that's pretty much how I use that. Fuzzbubble says, wow, I can't decide if I feel lazy or just living simply by comparison. Just for all the tracking. I mean, I think it sounds more productive than it really is. I just wanted to show why I use digital tools, but I also use the planner tool. So the most important thing for me with the planner is that I can't fill it with stuff. So as you saw in my Notion, I have absolutely my really long lists are like, they can get out of control, right? I'm also like planning like really complicated, I'm planning a Guinness World Record attempt this next year, COVID willing, because it's a travel related Guinness World Record attempt. And that involves juggling like literally hundreds of bus and train schedules. And that's just the kind of thing that I cannot do in a paper planner. That kind of stuff is exactly why in my day-to-day life, I really do value having it actually out on paper, because I think it's really easy to get overwhelmed by all of my goals and ideas and everything. And if I don't have a physical limit on where I can draw them, I really struggle. And I do like cute stickers. There are some people who really, really elaborately decorate their planners. And for me, the level of decoration I have is, I pick a color scheme and then I put a couple character stickers down each week that I think are cute. So I'm kind of in between. I would say I'm not like a fully functional paper planner person. I'm also not the kind of person that's going to I probably wouldn't carry this planner while traveling because I do like to travel quite light, and the idea of carrying like a whole planner is really a lot to me. That being said, I could maybe take it out and just put it in like a clear cover or something and maybe bring it. So, should we ask which Guinness World Record? It is an attempt to go after the Guinness World Record for fastest travel time to every European capital city by scheduled surface transportation, which means by public transit. That's their phrase. So it would be to every EU capital city, not European capital city. We'll see. I could show you the Google sheet for that if you want to see the Google sheet for it. I don't want to I guess the question is how much I should share of it, because you don't really want to share your plans for this kind of travel lest someone else steal your plan, because you have to kind of figure it out. So yeah, it would take 19 days based on my current estimation and my current routing. The big problems are, so what is the current record? David, there is not actually a current record for all EU capital cities. It is an open record, so I would be attempting to set the record. I don't have to beat it. So Fuzzbubble says, more than that, you have a lot going on and it's a lot to juggle. It's great that it works for you. Does it work for me? I don't know. That's an interesting question. This is a snapshot in time of where my system is. Right now, I am really struggling to be able to study for a securities exam, study for a German class, work a day job, and then also work 10 to 15 hours a week on Oh My Dollar. It is a lot right now, kind of struggling with it, and don't think, and then skating. I just failed to mention skating, the thing that I do between 4 and 10 hours a week. So yeah, it's been a little rough. The Journaling Broom says, for this year, I've been bullet journaling for planning in just a plain dot grid notebook. The year started out with making designs and being all static, but now it's plain functional. Yeah, I just can't, I'm not much of a paper planner. I do like making lists, but I don't, I get bored making a list, like a long-term list in a notebook. Like my hand tends to hurt and stuff. Maybe because I have too many plans and typing doesn't hurt my hands. Use your cat paper cover. That's true. Maggie, I don't even usually bring a notebook, though, when I travel. I pretty much just bring a phone and a camera. So Fuzzbubble says, that's a cool record to go for. Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited, but I am really dependent on COVID because I have multiple ferries, and the ferries tend to be seasonal, as well as some of the trains, along with border restrictions. So, yeah. David says, I hope this will be something we can follow. Sounds fun to watch. I am also hoping for you to be able to follow it. Like, the plan is definitely to be able to get some content out of it. So I hope that it's able to happen this year. If it's not able to happen this year would be summer 2022. It has to be in the summer because I'm reliant on those ferries. And a lot of those ferries are seasonal tourist ferries. I have to get the two problem countries are Cyprus and Malta, of course, because they are EU capital cities. And it is impossible to get into Greek Cyprus without going out of the EU into Turkey and then taking a ferry, because there is no other land route or no other sea route in from the European Union. So, yeah. Dean says, I mean, it is a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot. It wasn't really the plan. Like, I didn't plan to stack so many things on. It just kind of happened. Opportunities came up after I'd already agreed to other things, and we're making do. I am currently taking PTO on Wednesdays, so it may be a bit disingenuous because for 3 weeks now, I have not had to work a full day on Wednesdays. So maybe it's disingenuous to say I have a full-time job right now, but Maggie in DeWood says, have you done any videos about how you pack when you travel? I love seeing how people pack with as little as possible. Yes, I did a video prior to going to Japan, I believe. I think I talked more about the apps that I use to travel in countries where I don't speak the language. But I did show off a little bit of my packing. You can also find my full packing list for when I went from Dublin, Ireland to Shanghai, China by train, crossing 18 countries and one ferry, and then some couple buses, unfortunately, because of the Russian border. So that trip was a month long, and I did it all in one pretty small children's backpack, because I am really small, so regular kind of travel backpacks tend to be too big for me. So yeah, I do talk about that. The biggest answer is wool clothing. That's pretty much it for me. Yeah. The Journaling Broom says, "Oh wow, you've traveled a lot." I try to travel as much as possible, but it's been very little traveling, unfortunately, the past 2 years. Although we have now possibly 2 trips coming up in December to Finland, maybe Estonia, and Denmark, and then maybe hop over to Sweden. But everything depends on COVID restrictions, flights getting changed, everything. Don't really believe it. As you know, I was supposed to go to Denmark a couple weeks ago. Didn't happen. So, not holding out hope for it. Although, if the Finland trip does happen, I will be taking the Santa Claus Express, which is the actual name of the train, up to the Arctic Circle. It looks like we're going to do that. And go up to the Arctic Circle. There is a good possibility of northern lights. Get to see some of the traditional reindeer farming of the Sami people up there. So excited about that, I guess. But for me, it's all about the trains and the ferries, and then also trying to embarrass myself in whatever the local language is. So my goal is to visit every country with take a train in every country that has a long distance passenger rail train. So I'm at like 43 countries, I believe. 43 countries, depending on how you determine sovereignty. So we'll see if I'm able to go to more. The whole Guinness World Record trip was conceived of as a way to hopefully celebrate when I get my EU citizenship. So Iris Bear says, "You should bring cat stickers to Santa." Yeah, there's also like Santa's village that you can visit, and you can like send postcards to people to arrive in December from Santa from the North Pole. I'm kind of struggling as someone who doesn't celebrate Christmas, how much I'm in for the whole Santa-ness of it all. But that being said, it does kind of make otherwise not particularly hospitable weather more attractive. So the Journaling Broom says 43 countries. Yeah, I've lived in 3 too. I would like to go to more though. I would always like to go to more. I have done no travel to Africa and no travel to South America, so I still have quite a lot of more travel to be doing. I am hopefully going to my first African country next February, but once again, COVID pending, so we'll see. There's a town in Indiana called Santa Claus. People usually send their letters there, lol. I know that because I'm from Cincinnati. David Shansky says, "How about Antarctica?" No, I'd love to, but it's not terribly high on the list for me. I would like to eventually. It's very expensive to get there. To get there without flying is even more expensive. And I had a master plot. I have a friend who worked on a tourist research vehicle, and essentially got paid to be in Antarctica and like amuse a bunch of German scientists. And I'm like hoping that she'll like let me be able to do that at some point. She's like, "I can refer you to the company." Yeah, but there's no trains, and but the main reason is it's really expensive. So I tend to try to focus where I can maximize my money, and Antarctica is not one of those places. So someday, but no trains, so I care less. Yeah, but we'll see. And we'll also see if I get my EU citizenship this summer. Who knows? They said a year to 2 years when we applied in person in June. So, or May? Was it May or June? It was June. Yeah, we applied at the consulate in June for citizenship, and they said 1 to 2 years before we will find out if we have gotten it. So, who knows? Might have it next summer, might not. The Journaling Broom says, do you travel alone to those countries, solo traveling? Most of the time. We've been doing a little bit more joint travel, but like my long train trips are always solo travel. I lived in London alone, and I lived in Germany alone. But for me, yeah, like I love that. I love like long solo travel, but it has been fun to travel with Aaron, which we've done some more of, mostly because I've been glomming on to all of the miles and points, and he's nice to travel with. So, but yeah, I prefer solo travel. When doing solo travel though, I usually try to stay in hostels, because that kind of gives you like a built-in group of people. Even as I get older and the average age in the hostel is often like 10 or more years younger than me, it means that you find where kind of like the cool young people are going. So at least I try to do a couple nights in hostels when I'm traveling. David says, what do you plan to do once you get citizenship, move there? So Croatia is part of the EU, and I am definitely pursuing citizenship, at least in part, because America is a healthcare hellscape. And as much as the EU may be having problems, healthcare is pretty much better everywhere in the rich world than it is in the United States. And so for me, the citizenship is a backup plan. I would like to go and study the Croatian language a bit more, possibly buy a piece of property in Croatia, which is pretty much all coastline. So that is very nice. It's made up of a lot of islands and coast. And I would like to be able to possibly purchase a property there, which is quite a bit more affordable than the Portland real estate market, where $300,000 can get you a box on the side of the road right now. And $300,000 can buy you a villa in Croatia, neither of which I am planning on spending, but yeah. Ursula says, solo travel is delightful. It's like a good balance. You always have inevitable periods with solo travel where you're like, really wish there was someone else here. I'm always struck when I'm traveling with Aaron of like, it's so easy to have someone else take pictures of me in places. And like, there's so many ways in which you can like reduce costs with two people too. Like it's so much cheaper to travel with two people because when you're purchasing food from the grocery store to make or whatever, you are splitting it between two people rather than buying a quantity that's like too large to eat while you're in that country. So David says, you aren't so much for bumming an invite to my villa. Well, I might have a nice Croatian, coastal apartment. So you can still come like hang out in the Croatian beach. It just probably won't be a villa. So yeah, and for people of Croatian heritage, there is actually a program that helps sponsor you to go to Croatia and work on studying the language, because the language is relatively new as a language. It only really officially separated from Serbian as Serbo-Croatian and from Montenegrin about 30 years ago. During the war, they really worked to establish Croatian as its own language for national identity, politics reasons, but because of that, they have really tried to work to get the Croatian diaspora, which is quite large due to the war, due to histories of occupation in the region. They've worked to try to make it so the Croatian diaspora can learn Croatian. So I would like to go there and possibly learn it. We'll see if Croatia lets me. Additionally, if I am an EU citizen, I can go to graduate school for EU rates anywhere in the EU, which included my graduate school in London that I was looking forward to until December 31st, 2020, unfortunately, before I got my citizenship. So we'll see. It's a backup plan. Should I eat this donut? Let's eat this donut. Anybody have any productivity or app questions? Or want me to sing the praises of Llama Life? All right, this fritter. Do you think this will be good heated up? Or do you think it's gonna melt? I'm pulling you, Aaron.
I don't think you should heat it.
I should not heat it, okay. Caramel apple fritter. It's spooky and shiny. It's meant to be like ghost flavored. And then the bottom is like this. I think the top has been actually airbrushed. There's like actual glitter on it. I'm trying to picture in my mind the taste of a caramel apple. I haven't gotten to the apple chunks yet, so right now I'm just mostly getting caramel donut. Okay, there is a nice big piece of apple. So now we can see if I can get the caramel apple out of it. There's not enough apple pieces in it. I thought that was going to be a big piece, but it was only like that big. I don't know. It's interesting. It's just like a regular kind of donut in the middle. It's kind of more overwhelmingly sugary than it is evoking caramel apple in my head. It's good. But I don't feel like it's very caramel apple-y. It's the dough to apple ratio, I feel like, is off for a fritter. Okay. I am hungry, so I'm eating all of it. But what I will say is, like, I would eat it again, but I wanted there to be more apple in it. Yeah, I don't really mind the caramel sugary taste. It's like, the problem is that there's not a bunch of apples. And the apple pieces are like, I'm fine with them being really small, but I just want more of them throughout. There were like 5 apple pieces in that giant fritter. I think it needed to be better incorporated throughout the batter. Yeah, I see your point. Caramel is usually very sugary. Perhaps that is why it is the first named ingredient. But no, I'm with Aaron. You need to have more fruit than anything else. Okay, would I eat this again? Absolutely. Do I think it's the best donut we've had? Absolutely not. It's like I think it's a 3 out of 5. I feel a sugar headache just watching. I will say that, like, there wasn't very much sugar inside of the, like, it was just bread. It was just, like, fried bread on the inside. So the outside layer was quite thin. It's just because it's kind of caramel flavored dough, it felt sugary. So, yeah. David says, I'm just going to go eat a banana. I feel like that probably actually has as much sugar in it as this fritter does. It all just converts to sugar anyway. It's what we need for energy, so, you know. But if I crash at the end of the live stream, you know why. Yeah, the dough isn't, like, overly sugary. I don't think the dough had any sugar in it whatsoever, so, I don't know, it felt a little better. Anybody have any questions about planners or... Oh, 3 out of 5. I think it didn't get put on the screen, but 3 out of 5. For the caramel apple fritter. David says, I gave up on pure sugar. Natural sugars I'm fine with. That's how Aaron operates, too. So that means that donuts are really my biggest sugar in this household excuse of the week. So I gotta milk the live streams for all they're worth because the household has, like, no really sugary things in it. Unless I go out and get myself candy, which I do once or twice a month. And then I, of course, eat the entire box of candy that was supposed to last me several days in one sitting, and then I feel sick. And then I'm like, I should stop going to get candy. The thing that's really disheartening to me is my favorite candy, I think, has stopped being produced. It was Zowers. I really like sour candy. Zowers is like sour Mike and Ike's, but they're not sour Mike and Ike's. They were Mike and Ike's, but coated with this sour flavor on them. And I have not been able to find them at all. Oh, the top was removed from this teapot. I did not realize that. That seems dangerous. Low calorie, filling, fiber. Yep. I mean, bananas are pretty great, but they're not as good as a donut. But I would rather eat a banana every day than eat a donut every day. Donuts are good, but in a special occasion sort of way. Oh, I do want to point out that I really struggle. I don't have a lot of Halloween themed stuff, but I have an orange train plushie. So I put it out in the background to keep with the Halloween theme. I just want you to appreciate that. Oh yes, there is a cat-shaped trivet. That the cat likes to knock on the floor because everything that goes on the table belongs on the floor, of course. Donut, sometimes food. Yeah, well, it might be tonight because I don't know what my level of motivation is going to be to deal with anything tonight. Should I plan next week on this live stream? This is just like, could be some nice little ASMR for you all. You can see what my little planning would do. We could do a plan with me. I'm not much of a plan with me person, but we'll keep it nice and calm. I'm not much of a I'm not much of it, you know, planner, but we'll try here. Okay. So what I am doing is I have my calendar open on my phone, which is the combined calendar for my day job, which uses Google Calendar, and my personal events that use Google Calendar. I really do have very few events during the week. So I have my my weekly stand-up meeting, which is my one meeting that I have every week with my whole team, and then my one-on-one at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And then I have a planning meeting. Look at this. I say I have no meetings, but I have 3 meetings in 2 days. And this is GTFS Foundations. And I have German class from 10 a.m. to 12:30. And I have the live stream from 5 to 6:45 next Sunday. And I have skating class from 9 to 10 on Wednesday. Any other meetings that I'm missing? Nope. And I do not do any of my work to-dos on my weekly spread, and that is because my work is not mostly managed. I don't actually plan my week out in advance, really, for my day job because I work off tickets. So other than these meetings you just saw me mark out, that I don't have every day. I kind of sit down and figure out what tickets I have at my day job because I do work off of a like group ticket sort of schedule. So I don't put my work things because I really am an hourly employee, and so it's just not important to be able to do that. Dean says, how do you keep the routine, the habit of doing your journal? Is it the reward of emojis and stickers? So I saw that you correct yourself to your planner. Yeah, I was going to say I'm not really a journaler. I try to be, and I cannot keep up with that. So there's a couple ways that I kind of keep up with like the motivation to do it. So as far as tracking my time, that is one thing that so you'll see that I have a reminder in my calendar that says check timesheet every day, every weekday at 4 p.m. And that is essentially an alarm. And it's because I have found that if I try to track all my time at the time that I'm doing it, but I work billable hours at my job, so I have to keep all those timers running anyway, because otherwise my company doesn't get paid, and that's not good for my job. So the check timesheet is because I have discovered it is a lot harder to go back and track time later than it is to do it at the time. So at 4 p.m. is my opportunity to be like, oh crap, did I forget that I didn't have the timer running or anything like that? And the other kind of like motivation for keeping up with the weekly planner, the thing that is both maybe a little unhealthy in me, but very, is very like, I guess, what are the words I'm looking for? It's not necessarily a healthy obsession, but I am really motivated by streaks. So that's one reason that I like to have a planner that is a dated planner. I don't like to see kind of those like empty pages and stuff. So that is helpful for me. As a fair warning, it's in the chat, but we just heard that there was a power glitch, and I know that there is power out in quite a lot of the city. We had really high winds today, so if we completely disappear, that is why. We might be running off backup batteries right now. So yeah, that's kind of motivating to me, but the reason that the paper planner is not super challenging for me to keep up with is that it is a very calming activity. Like actually being able to see it all out see it in front of me is very motivating. But you'll notice with the daily pages, I really do struggle. Like on days that I don't need them, I don't really use them. So I guess that's one of the things. Like I have some like regret about not being the kind of person that can have like a beautiful record sort of paper schedule, but it just won't work for me. So I'm going to make little headers for my to-dos for my various tasks. Oh, my dollar always comes first because it is the thing that I have the most to-dos for out of my day job. Okay. Trailer. Podcast. Record. Podcast promo. Fulfilled by Amazon box. Wholesale. Drop off. I have a lot of stuff to do ahead of the season. Order envelopes. And this is just like all the stuff that pretty much I didn't get done this week that I know I have to do next week. Sticker print for Budgetober. Badges. Live stream. Have we dropped off yet? I hear some nervous things. Is this calming to anybody watching this? I have like the most boring plan with me, I feel like. Just watching me write my to-do list. Torito asked if I can have dual citizenship with the US and EU. Well, the EU isn't, you don't actually have EU citizenship. You have citizenship in a country that is a member of the EU, which then gives you all of the abilities, rights, and responsibilities of being an EU citizen, and Croatia is part of the EU now. So yes, Croatia does allow you to have dual citizenship with the US. The US pretty much doesn't care about dual citizenship. It's just other countries that don't allow it. And Croatia, the whole idea behind this program is in order to get all of the people that have Croatian heritage that their families have left or they have left because of the various wars, including the Croatian Independence War that just happened only 20 years ago. The Journaling Broom says, do you have to pay taxes in both countries then? So, fun fact, America is the only country in the world where if you are an American citizen, well, there's one other country, which is Eritrea. They are the only country in the world where if you are a citizen that holds a passport and you live abroad, you have to pay taxes. However, there is the foreign earned income exclusion. But no other country requires you to pay taxes if you hold their passport, if you are not a resident of there. Taxes are based on residency. They are not based on having the passport, except for the U.S. and Eritrea. So, yeah, great fun fact. But up to $100,000 a year, there is a foreign earned income exclusion in the United States. And I'm not planning on ever giving up my American passport unless the really does fall, which is entirely possible. And unfortunately, as someone who holds an American passport, I still have to fill out a ton of forms when I live abroad for banking and everything because America sucks like that. So, yeah. So, oh, I like that other people are planning too. Okay. New patrons. What else do I have to do? Okay. And then, edit video. I think that's most of the overwhelming stuff. Is there anything else? I'm looking at last week's to see if there's anything I need to carry over. Sticker print. Okay, cool. This is the thing that has to happen on this day, but I don't really pre-date my dailies. So I just put that. Badges happen on Friday for Budgetober, and I have to go do those on the forums. Okay, and then the second thing is studying. And I just happen to know where I'm at with studying right now. So I need to do Unit 1 checkpoint. Units 4 through 6. And quiz on 6. And then German homework 4. Whom and declinations. Okay. The life. Do I have anything in the life category? So I can do it down here. I'm never awake past midnight, so I essentially can use these little categories down here. So yeah. The Torito said something OISHI. Wait, what does that mean? Are you what does that stand for? Am I just not smart? Okay. Oh, my dollar studying. What else do I have? I have kind of the life category, which includes PT, buy detergent, and what else do I need to buy? Oh, bunga pads. I still need to buy bunga pads. That's a thing you get for skating that I'm putting off because $30 for a piece of gel that goes around my ankles I find very annoying. However, mine are completely falling apart and they are extremely helpful, so I really do need to buy them. And then I think that is all I'm gonna really be able to do. Okay, so I'll leave another column up for any other to-do lists I might need to do, and then I'm gonna do myself a little graph for Series 65. One, 2, 3, 4. This is for hours spent. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And oh, you already bought detergent, but I had a coupon. When did you buy detergent? Cool. All right. Well, look at that. I'm checking something off before the week has even started. Damn it. Is there other stuff? I keep feeling like there was something I was supposed to do next weekend. Oh, there's a Halloween party. I am not gonna do that. Okay, so I do need to take Halloween pictures. And yeah, there was going to be a party on Saturday night, but I'm not going to a party. That's not happening. There's no... Yeah, I mean, the detergent doesn't go bad, but the problem is that we don't have any space to store detergent. It's more for the under-the-couch pantry, which I really do feel like I don't want to do. Okay, so I am going to put a couple stickers in this ahead of time, which I don't totally do a ton of, but I got some cute stickers I got a couple cute stickers. And the live stream, I feel like, can I ask the second part of my question again? Forgive the repetition. Oh yeah, I don't know what the second part was, so feel free to ask it again. Okay. Well, I feel like since it's Halloween, this picture for the live stream is appropriate, which is someone showing off their stickers. It's from Sweet Avis Design. And it's someone showing off their stickers in like a little bat costume. So I feel like that's like probably the perfect one. Probably gonna do all Halloween themed this week. And then I have little skates as well. You can put tiny skates down for skating class. They're like little kawaii skates. And yeah, that's probably all I have to do for... So, track your time. Do you know how long things take? Put them in the weekly daily. Bid for them on Llama Life. Do them, track, repeat. Yeah, so for me, it's all about the, like, so I really thrive under routine, but I do kind of struggle to create it. And for me, it, like, the way that I track the time, for me, is that I sit down at the beginning of the day and I open this planner and I open my browser, my computer, and hook it up. I start time tracking for work, which is like me clocking in for work. And then I just have those things open on the screen and like actually estimate all the time for my tasks. For me, I know how long tasks are generally taking. And so the estimating time is not particularly challenging for me. And the starting the timer, I guess what motivates me is I like the value of the data that I get out of it. So, you know, sometimes I do struggle with making myself like track stuff. Like if I'm having a really unproductive morning at work, right, I sometimes resist starting the timer because I don't like seeing it clock down, like tick down if I'm not actually getting work done. So for me, it's this like ritual kind of practice that I do of like, okay, I've got my coffee, I come to the computer, I put on my noise canceling headphones, everything's in its place, and then I'm able to start things. The place where I struggle is making time for the like creative pursuits for me as someone that currently has a lot of non-creative things going on right now, all of which is in service to larger goals of mine. But like one thing I struggle with is once I fill up that with all of the time of all the things I need to do to pay the bills, to do my day job, to, you know, do my daily Duolingo and get my streak renewed and stuff like that, I often find myself being like, okay, 45 minutes to write a script. Or, you know, do I want to sit down and edit for 3 hours? I don't have a lot of trouble. Once I'm in a task, even if it's a boring task, if I get myself in the right headspace for it, then I don't really struggle staying on it. Like I tend to be decently focused on a lot of the tasks, especially even the boring tasks. But I struggle with, you know, what's the words I'm looking for? I struggle with getting started. I guess just getting started. That's the easy way to say it. Yeah, I struggle with the getting started. So it is actual Halloween week. So I have this washi tape, but it's kind of too big. I've been using it on Oh My Dollar envelopes. So I think I might just save it. It's also like, it's actually really good envelope tape because it's like pretty big. But I thought like some cat. Well, what other things do I have? What do we think? I've got one that's like corgi train tape. And that's like, it's orange, so it's like kind of Halloween themed. I have lots of train washi tape, you know, gotta keep it relevant. But then these are a bunch of cats in little costumes, which is what I did last week. But maybe I just need to repeat the washi tape for 2 weeks in a row. I don't know. Clearly the answer is I need to buy more washi tape, right? That's the real answer. This is my full washi tape collection. You now have seen it all. Most of it is just from a single pack of getting a bunch of different colors. A lot of it came from the train museum. Should I just do the costumes for cats again? I did that last week though, but you know, I guess sometimes you just gotta repeat it. I feel like the other one's just too big. Yep, that's what it's gonna have to be, I think. Little costumes for cats. You know, I used to see people with all of their like planner pens and washi tape and everything. And I was like, man, how do you have so much planner stuff? But I've since learned that you just accumulate this stuff over time. And that eventually, just buying a little bit at a time, you end up with quite a lot of it. Although there's stuff that I still haven't ended up with, like, I do not have a washi tape cutter. I know other people do. I do not. That's an expired credit card, so you can't try to steal that credit card I just used for the washi tape on the stream. I was trying to use the top of the page in a productive way. Oh, that's going to cover up a time that I actually wake up, though, so I can't do that. I've been trying to use it in a productive way, but I haven't really found the way to use it. Like, I didn't use it for anything last week or the week before, and then I, like, tried to do these little cat stickers reflecting how I felt that day, but I don't know. Struggled with it. This is why you should have put your washi tape down at the beginning, because now these graphs would have been covered up. All right, so that means I can pick my colors. I think I'm going to still stick with some, like, kind of fall colors here. Let's see if this is too... Is that too bright? This is a Frixon pen, so it's like... It's erasable. Ugh, that looks awful. Now I'm not probably going to be able to erase it. That did not work. That was not what I wanted out of this. The other thing is I don't do a task list for my day job, but I do need a color for it because it's the most time that I spend. So I think the color for it is going to be this orange color this week to, like, stick with the time. So we'll get the most orange during Halloween week. Okay, that was all of my meetings. Now I'm going to try to erase. Nope, that is not going to work. Not going to erase. Oh, that wasn't the eraser. So that's the first step to erasing a Frixon pen. Oh my gosh. This is going terribly, you all. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to find a sticker that could go over the top of that. Not the most beautiful that has ever happened. This is thrilling content. I'm a really prepared planner. Stickers picks a lot of things in my planner. Yeah. Hey, this is kind of like candy corn themed. I believe in my ability. Yeah, look at that. It's almost like a header. I guess, should I cover up all the headers? No? Or no? I guess I've decided to. Now you're really seeing how I am not a very good... I'm not a beautiful planner, that's for sure. Barely holding the planning bit together. Okay. Any other stickers I can use that are nice and thematic? I saw people put stickers over other stickers, and I was like, what? That's a thing you can do? What if instead of making this like, oh my dollar, I put this over it? Nope, that looks bad. I'm sorry, I'm not a very good aesthetic planner, as you've kind of learned. The Journaling Broom says, I've tried my best to avoid buying washi tape rolls. Just buy samples. It's easier on my wallet and space. Oh, that's actually a really good idea. I didn't really know about washi tape samples until I wanted to get some from, I wanted to get some washi that was like sold out in a pre-sale from the Coffee Monster Co. And then I found all these like washi tape resellers and I was like, this is brilliant. So yeah, I didn't know that samples were even like a thing that you could get. It's a very interesting business model, the sample kind of strategy. Do other people have to tilt things this much when they write? Because I noticed that other people seem to plan like this and I like tilt my stuff a lot. So, okay, well now I'm going to try to write this again. I don't trust my felt pen. I'm going to do it with my Frickson so I can... Studying. And life. And series 65. And skating. I think that's it. Yeah, there we go. That's my week. It's not very exciting, but that's what it looks like at the beginning of the week. I don't really have a lot of stickers to add. Maybe I could do like a studying sticker for German class. I might have like a little class sticker. I keep turning away from the mic, so I hope that the sound is just not absolutely atrocious on this live stream, because my stickers are behind me. These are all of my, I've had most of these stickers for years and years, and have been slowly working my way through all of these clear stickers, and the thing I hate about them is they're all just like, you just have no idea where a sticker you're looking for is on these sheets because they're all just kind of like mixed in together. So, also this one is like low key racist. Dean says, so do you do each day that morning as well as the day page? As far as the day, like throughout the day, I'll fill in the time. But the day page I do when I sit down and start for the day. I'm pretty new to the daily planner thing, and as you can see, I had some pages that are just not filled. That's more like for taking a test, I feel like, that one. So the Journaling Broom says, wow. Well, almost, if you're saying wow at these like pile of stickers, most of them are like ones that I got in Asia that you just get in like huge packs. So, but my problem is some of them are like low-key racist, and because they're like a, you know, Korean or Chinese or Japanese, depending on the sticker, reflection of what traveling the world is like and other cultures. And then quite a lot of them are like weirdly weight loss focused, but I do like a lot of the visual depictions. So like you can see these travel stickers have been given up. Also, I'm saving these ice skating cats for I don't know what, but ice skating pairs cats right there. I just gotta wait until I have the perfect thing to use them for. These came from Japan, and you can put them around. They're like clear, and you can put them over like a date in your planner, and it'll like circle it or like highlight it. I know the ice skating kitties are so cute. Here is a studying cat. I'm gonna put a studying cat down for German class. There we go. That took a lot of energy to find a studying one. What I like about these stickers is I just have like the stereotypical tidy Japanese girl like haircut and skin tone and facial features. So all of these stickers like look like me. As much as any stickers do, right? So Iris Bear says maybe they tilt the camera so it looks straight. Maybe that's the secret of planner YouTubers out there in the world. Yep. All right. Well, we've had the plan with me. This week's Floof of the Week is my own cat. So I don't know if people, I mean, I think we all just kind of want to look at cats. So anybody have any questions about my beautiful planner spread and how I make such gorgeous, absolutely incredible planner spreads? Look at that. Look at this. Don't you just covet my skill? There's other people on this darn YouTube website that have like amazing calligraphy skills, and I'm like, hello. I wrote some things in felt pen, but whatever. It's functional for me. That's all that really matters. This is a writing board too. I only really use it when I'm writing with the fountain pen. I should probably use it more often, but I forget to use it. So when I'm writing with the fountain pen, I'll usually slide the writing board behind it. But function over beauty is beautiful. Thank you. I agree. I really enjoy like I like, you know, like I got like a nice cover and I like looking at pretty things, but for me the function I think comes before anything else. Oh yes. This is a very perfect for the theme of the week. This came with the Sweet Avis paper. Look at all the planner stuff. I do find it ironic how many planner, so Sweet Avis, I linked to it down below in the description because I use so many of her stickers now. I love how many of the planner stores sell planner stickers about planning and about buying planner stickers and sharing them on the internet. It's like very deeply self-referential. Oh no, I think I tucked my ones away that I wanted to have out. I did. These I actually want to have out. My little Halloween stickers. Gotta keep my Halloween stickers ready for the week. Former art teacher here to say it's stunning. Thank you for the endorsements of my beautiful planning style. Okay, let's look at the Floof of the week, and then I think we can wrap up. This has been a long live stream that's been wandery. You know, sometimes you just want to have a lazy live stream week. Where did Floof of the week go? Okay, so our Floof of the week. So Floof of the week, which here's our little. Do I need to share it? Screen monitoring office. Okay, Floof of the week is a Floof of the Week is where we celebrate the furry companions and occasionally scaly companions of the Personal Finance Society members. And nobody submitted their floof this week of our lovely patrons. So if you are a patron and your floof has not yet been part of Floof of the Week, please send it in to questions@ohmydollar or DM it to me on the forums. But this week's Floof of the Week is in the room right now. Her name is Dora. She is an adorable one-eyed kitty creature. All of the pictures are of her sleeping. And because of the methods that she sleeps in, it's impossible to tell which way is up in most of these photos. And almost all of these pictures were from messaging history between Aaron and I when one of us is stuck under the cat to demonstrate how stuck we are. Oh, this is Dora in her office. She is the chief box inspector of Oh My Dollar. And she reports for duty by inspecting all packages that come in. And doing her duty by sleeping in this box during the day. This is more napping. More napping. More napping. It's very elaborate. Are you filming this, me showing this on here? Oh, and that's a different floof. There we go. There's Dora. We are keeping in the donut realm today with the pictures of Dora. She is a professional sleeper. She's a professional box inspector. And inspecting boxes involves naps. You too would need a nap if you had to nap 20 hours a day. Also, if you had to take a bath with your tongue for like 4 hours a day, I bet you would also need a lot of naps. So, I don't know. Thank you all for joining whatever the heck this live stream was today. You know, I said just we'll have a nice chill. Accidentally had a plan with me. I showed you how I'm using the Hobonichi. I talked about all of the time tracking I was doing and made all of you think that I am obsessed with tracking my time, which I don't feel like I am, but maybe I do. Maybe I am. Maybe I actually am. And we looked at my cute cat. She's very cute. She's in just the other part of the room. I could go. We have an overhead view of Dora to close it out. How about while I go get Dora and bring her for a overhead cat cam, you tell me what you are looking forward to this week, this Halloween week, and if you are dressing in a costume for Halloween, please tell me what it is. Boop, boop, boop. All right. Dora, overhead cam. Look at this cutie. Yeah. I just brought her over in her box. Yep, for her adoring masses, you can see her sparkly balls. It's very cute. Dorito says, you say that as I'm looking at my Dasso washi holder / cutter. Lol, I can send you one. Do I need one though, really? Because I could probably just keep using the metal credit card that I have that's expired. Yes, she does have very cute ears, doesn't she? She has cute ears. Iris Bear says, I'm looking forward to seeing how my new neighborhood is. Oh, yay, that's very exciting. Are you going to try to do trick-or-treating? Do you know if the neighborhood does trick-or-treating where you're at? We unfortunately live in an apartment building, so we do not have any trick-or-treating to do, which is kind of sad. The credit card method seems to work well. Yeah, it actually works pretty decently. I forget to do it about half the time and just rip it, and then it looks messy. But here, this is how we get all the things people come to the stream for. Planner plus cat. There we go. It's all of it. This is like a cushioned cover, so it's, yeah. Do you want the strings, Dora? On one of my old passion planners, she ripped half the ribbon out that was the bookmark and ate it And then the rest of the year, I only had a half a bookmark, and it did not stick out the bottom. Iris Bear says, no clue, but I'll have candy just in case. See, that's even better, because then you get to eat all the candy if you don't get any trick-or-treaters. I think in the States, trick-or-treating is actually going to be really legit this year because, you know, even Dr. Fauci was like, yes, please do trick-or-treating. You can have trick-or-treating. So. Oh. Did you see that? I got booped. That was a scratchy boop. It wasn't really a scratch. It was like a paw. Oh, yawn. What is this? What are we doing? What are we doing? Dean says, I'm looking forward to getting more Budgetober stuff done this week because it's helped. Yay! I'm so glad to hear that. One of the things that I have to do this week is print up all of the Budgetober sticker sheets, which I'm going to hopefully do sheets. But I'm printing them at home so that I can get more stickers out to you because previously I've done the printed out of the house stickers, which cost more. And so I get die cuts instead of kiss cuts, but I think I can fit more cats onto them. And they're actually better for planners because the paper that we have is like a good matte planner, kind of planner paper as opposed to the shiny waterproof stickers. And I'm hoping to put them all onto a phone background for Patreon members. So hopefully patrons will be getting a little last week of Budgetober Halloween themed background as long as I actually get it done tomorrow, which means I should probably put it in my planner, huh? Yeah, did you win? She won. Oh my gosh. Boop. 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 Iris Bear, maybe I should pretend that I like how you're just watching me play with my cat now. It's okay. You all said you're doing other things. So you're really just hanging out. Oh, one thing that I am hoping to get done this upcoming weekend that I didn't put on the list, so I probably should, is that we managed to get the video of the old documentary I made about intentional communities in 2007 off of an ancient file, and I am hoping to do a reaction video to it. And I'm doing a reaction video so that I can cut it down because it was a terrible video because it was the first movie I ever made. So I want to speed it up a little bit, and also because it was filmed on a potato. So I feel like if I do a reaction video, people will not have to see the full screen terrible potato quality that it is. Now I just have a cat head. Should I turn her around? Boop, bada boop, bada boop, bada boop, bada boop. So hopefully that video will go up. I'm not going to do that as a live stream. I'm going to do that as an edited video, which means who knows when it'll happen. We also filmed a video for our as yet unnamed series and channel about the Triplex project, which many of you have been following on the Oh My Dollar forums, but we still need a name for our like home design / zoning YouTube channel. So I don't really know what the heck it'll be. Anyway, everybody have a lovely time with their trick-or-treating. If you are not doing trick-or-treaters on Sunday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern still, or even if you are, you could just put me while you wait for trick-or-treaters. I will be on the live stream. I will be in costume. It will be, I think I will have 2 spooky donuts. We're going to double up the donuts next week. And I'm not sure what we're going to talk about yet. I'll figure it out before next week. Last year, I did financial ghost stories, so I might do some financial ghost stories again next year. I don't think I was wildly good at it, but maybe I could prep a little more this time. And yeah, it'll be fun. Thank you so much for spending some of your Sunday night with me. I hope you all finish what you are working on right now, and hope to see you next week. Stay safe, pet a cat, and bye.